Why cats guard doorways at night, the spiritual meaning behind it. Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night and found your cat sitting perfectly still in your doorway, staring into the darkness? There's a reason this happens, and it's far more beautiful than you might imagine. Your cat isn't just being curious. They're fulfilling an ancient spiritual purpose that connects directly to your well-being and protection. If you enjoy meaningful stories and spiritual insights about cats, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. The Silent Sentinel. When your cat becomes your guardian. The house is quiet. Everyone is asleep. The world outside has surrendered to the deep silence that only nighttime brings. And then you see it. Your cat, positioned at the threshold of your bedroom door, sitting upright with an almost regal posture. Their ears are forward, alert. Their eyes are fixed on something you cannot see. Their tail is wrapped neatly around their paws. They are completely still, yet somehow you can feel their intense awareness filling the space. If you've witnessed this scene, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's something both mysterious and comforting about it. You might have wondered why your cat chooses this specific spot at this specific time. Why not curl up beside you in the warmth of your bed? Why stand guard when there's no apparent danger? The truth is, your cat knows something you don't. They sense something you cannot perceive with your physical eyes. And they've chosen to position themselves at that doorway for a profound spiritual reason. Throughout history, cats have been regarded as sacred guardians. In ancient Egypt, they protected temples and homes, not just from physical threats like rodents, but from unseen spiritual disturbances. The Egyptians understood what many modern pet owners are only now rediscovering. Cats possess an extraordinary sensitivity to energies that exist beyond our normal perception. When your cat sits in a doorway at night, they are choosing one of the most spiritually significant locations in your home. Doorways are thresholds. They represent transitions, boundaries between one space and another. In spiritual traditions around the world, these transitional spaces are considered powerful. They are places where energies can enter or leave, where the boundary between the physical world and other dimensions becomes thinner. Your cat instinctively understands this. Their ancestors knew it. And now, in your home, your beloved companion carries forward this ancient wisdom. Watch your cat's body language during these moments. Notice how their posture changes. They sit taller, more alert than during daytime hours. Their breathing becomes measured and calm. Sometimes their eyes will follow something across the room that you cannot see. Their head might tilt slightly, as if listening to frequencies beyond human hearing. And occasionally, you might notice their pupils dilate in a completely dark room, responding to stimuli invisible to you. This isn't random behavior. This is purposeful. This is sacred work. In Japanese culture, cats are believed to ward off evil spirits. In Celtic traditions, they are seen as guardians of the other world. Across continents and throughout centuries, humanity has recognized that cats operate on a different frequency than we do. They perceive layers of reality that remain hidden from human awareness. And during the night, when our rational minds quiet down and we enter the vulnerable state of sleep, our feline companions step into their role as spiritual sentinels. But here's what makes this truly beautiful. Your cat isn't guarding the doorway because they have to. They're not following orders or acting out of fear. They're doing this out of love, out of a deep spiritual bond that connects their soul to yours. Think about the moment your cat came into your life. Was it chance? Or did it feel like something more? Like recognition? Like coming home to someone you'd known before? That feeling wasn't an illusion. There's a spiritual truth woven into the fabric of your relationship with your cat. And their nighttime vigil is just one expression of it. When you go to sleep, you enter a state where your energy field becomes more open, more receptive. Your defenses naturally lower. Your consciousness shifts. And in this state, you need protection on levels you might never have considered. Your cat knows this. They feel it. And they respond by positioning themselves at the entry point to your space, serving as a filter, a guardian, a sacred protector. Have you ever noticed that you sleep more deeply when your cat is near? That you wake feeling more rested when they've been present through the night? This isn't coincidence. Their energy works in harmony with yours, creating a protected space where you can truly rest. I'd love to hear your experience. Have you found your cat guarding your doorway at night? What did you feel in that moment? Share your story in the comments below, and I promise to read and respond to each one. Your experience matters, and it's part of a much larger spiritual pattern that connects cat lovers around the world. But here's something that might shift your entire understanding of this behavior. What exactly is your cat protecting you from? And why does this guardianship become even more important during the nighttime hours when the world grows quiet and the veil between dimensions becomes almost transparent? The answer reveals a spiritual truth that will forever change how you see your feline companion. The sacred hours, understanding the night's spiritual power. There's something different about the night. You feel it even if you've never put it into words. The air changes, the energy shifts. The world that seemed so solid and predictable during daylight hours suddenly feels more fluid, more mysterious, and your cat feels this transformation even more intensely than you do. Night has always been regarded as sacred time in spiritual traditions around the world. Indigenous cultures speak of the night as when the spirits walk. Mystics describe it as the hour when the veil between worlds grows thin. Even modern energy practitioners recognize that something fundamental changes when the sun sets and darkness embraces the earth. But why? What makes nighttime spiritually different from day? During daylight hours, the collective consciousness of humanity is active and loud. Millions of minds are engaged in thinking, planning, worrying, creating. This generates what could be described as mental noise, a kind of energetic static that fills the atmosphere. Our rational minds dominate. Our logical thinking takes center stage. The physical world feels dense and unmovable. Then, night arrives. People begin to sleep. That mental noise diminishes. The collective consciousness quiets down. And in that quieting, something remarkable happens. Other frequencies, other energies, other dimensions of reality become more accessible, more present. This is when your cat's true work begins. Think about the moon for a moment. Ancient cultures understood that lunar cycles influence far more than ocean tides. They affect emotions, energy levels, and spiritual receptivity. Cats have maintained an ancestral connection to these lunar rhythms. Their nocturnal instincts aren't just about hunting mice. They're about attunement to energetic cycles that most humans have forgotten how to perceive. When you sleep, your consciousness shifts into a different state. Your awareness pulls back from the physical world and travels into the realm of dreams, memories, and subconscious processing. In this state, you become energetically vulnerable. Your natural defenses lower. Your energy field becomes more permeable. And this is precisely when protection becomes most essential. Your home, during these hours, becomes something like a spiritual way station. Energies move through it. Some are neutral. Some carry the emotional residue of the day. Others come from sources beyond your immediate environment. Not all of these energies serve your highest good. This is where your cat's remarkable abilities come into focus. Cats are natural energy regulators. Scientific research has documented that a cat's purr vibrates at frequencies between 25 and 150 Hz. These are the exact frequencies known to promote bone healing, reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and facilitate cellular repair in humans. But the science only captures part of the picture. What's happening energetically goes much deeper. Your cat doesn't just exist in your space. They actively work with the energy of that space. They absorb dense, stagnant, or negative energies and transform them. Think of them as spiritual air purifiers, constantly cleaning and balancing the energetic atmosphere of your home. And doorways, those threshold spaces where your cat chooses to sit, are the most important locations for this work. Energy enters and exits through doorways, both literally and symbolically. These are the pressure points of your home's energetic system. By positioning themselves there, your cat becomes a filter, allowing beneficial energies to pass while blocking or transforming those that might disturb your rest or well-being. Watch your cat closely during their nighttime vigil. When they sit perfectly still, staring intently into what appears to be empty space, what are they actually seeing? Cats can perceive ultraviolet light, which is invisible to human eyes. They can hear frequencies far above and below our auditory range. Their whiskers detect even the slightest changes in air pressure and electromagnetic fields. But beyond these physical sensitivities lies something even more profound. Cats appear to sense presences, energies, and spiritual movements that exist outside the spectrum of scientific measurement. Countless people have witnessed their cats staring at corners, following invisible movements across rooms, or suddenly becoming alert for no apparent physical reason. Your cat isn't being paranoid or strange. They're perceiving layers of reality that you cannot access in your normal waking state. And they're responding to what they perceive with intelligence and purpose. When your cat's tail moves in slow, deliberate waves while they're on guard, they're not just being restless. They're actively working with energy, directing it, moving it, transforming it. When they suddenly stand and walk the perimeter of a room before returning to their doorway post, they're checking, sensing, ensuring that everything remains in balance. This isn't imagination or superstition. This is ancient wisdom carried in feline DNA and expressed through behaviors that modern science is only beginning to understand. Have you ever noticed that on certain nights, your cat seems more vigilant than others? Perhaps they sit at the doorway with unusual intensity, or they keep returning to check on you throughout the night. These aren't random occurrences. Your cat is responding to energetic conditions that require extra attention, extra protection. Some nights are spiritually calmer than others. Some nights carry heavier energies, whether from collective human consciousness during times of widespread stress, from natural phenomena like electrical storms, or from personal emotional experiences that linger in your home's atmosphere. Your cat reads these conditions instinctively and adjusts their protective presence accordingly. The relationship between you and your cat during these nighttime hours is a form of sacred partnership, even if you've never consciously recognized it as such. You surrender to sleep, trusting that you'll be safe. Your cat accepts the responsibility of maintaining that safety on levels that transcend the physical. This is love expressed through vigilance. This is devotion manifested as protection. This is the profound spiritual bond between human and feline, playing out every single night in homes around the world. Tell me, have you ever felt safer knowing your cat was nearby at night? Have you experienced better sleep, fewer nightmares, or a deeper sense of peace in your home since your cat arrived? These aren't coincidences. Share what you've noticed in the comments. I'm genuinely curious about your experiences, and your insights might help others recognize similar patterns in their own lives. But there's something even more profound happening in this nightly ritual. Something that connects to why your cat came into your life in the first place. Because this protection, this guardianship, this sacred work they perform isn't random. It's part of a spiritual agreement that was made long before you and your cat ever met in this lifetime. The soul contract. Your cat chose you for a reason. Nothing in this universe happens by accident. Not the chance encounter that led you to your cat. Not the inexplicable pull you felt toward one particular feline among many. Not the timing of their arrival in your life, which probably came exactly when you needed them most, even if you didn't realize it at the time. Your cat didn't randomly end up in your home, and you didn't randomly become their person. There's a spiritual architecture underlying all relationships, and the bond between you and your cat is built on something far more ancient and intentional than chance. Many spiritual traditions teach the concept of soul contracts. These are agreements made between souls before they incarnate into physical form. Two souls recognize each other across the veil and decide to meet in the physical world for specific purposes. To learn together, to heal together, to support each other's spiritual growth, or to fulfill particular missions that serve both individuals. This isn't limited to human relationships. Souls incarnate into many forms, and the soul inhabiting your cat's body is far more evolved, far more aware than most people realize. Cats are ancient spiritual beings. They've walked alongside humanity for thousands of years, but their role has never been merely decorative or utilitarian. Every cat carries wisdom, awareness, and capabilities that operate on frequencies most humans have forgotten how to access. They are teachers disguised as companions. They are healers pretending to be pets. They are spiritual masters who've chosen to serve humanity through love rather than words. Think back to how you met your cat. Really remember that moment. Was there something that felt familiar about them? A sense of recognition that went beyond the physical? Many people describe meeting their cat as feeling like a reunion rather than a first encounter. That soul-deep knowing that says, "I've been waiting for you." That feeling is real. It's your soul recognizing a being you've known before, in other lifetimes, in other forms. It's the memory of an agreement you both made before entering this physical existence. Some cats come into our lives to heal old wounds. They appear during our darkest hours, offering unconditional love when we feel unworthy of it. They stay close during grief, during illness, during the painful transitions that break us open. Their presence alone can shift our emotional state, reminding us that we're not alone, that we're still capable of connection, even when everything else feels broken. Other cats come as spiritual teachers. They model presence, teaching us to exist fully in each moment without dwelling in past regrets or future anxieties. They demonstrate boundaries, showing us it's acceptable to say no, to rest, to prioritize our own well-being. They reveal the sacred in the ordinary, finding joy in sunbeams and contentment in simple routines. And some cats, like yours, come specifically as guardians and protectors. Their primary soul mission is to maintain energetic safety for their chosen human. They take this role seriously, and guarding doorways at night is one of the most visible expressions of this sacred duty. But here's what makes this truly extraordinary. They chose this mission. Before your cat was born, before you even knew you'd be looking for a feline companion, their soul selected you. They saw your energy signature, understood your spiritual path, recognized what you would need, and said yes to becoming your guardian. You were chosen. Every cat has unique spiritual gifts, just as every human does. Some cats are powerful energy healers, drawn to sit on their person's body exactly where pain or illness resides. You'll find these cats lying on your chest during heart heaviness, on your stomach during digestive distress, or on your legs during physical injury. They're not just seeking warmth, they're directing healing frequencies into your body. Other cats are emotional empaths, absorbing their person's anxiety, depression, or stress. They become visibly agitated when you're upset, not because they're disturbed by your behavior, but because they're actively taking your emotional burden into their own system and processing it for you. This is exhausting work, which is why empathic cats often sleep so much. They're recovering from the energy work they constantly perform. Your cat, the one who guards your doorway at night, has specialized in protection. This is their gift. This is their calling. And they're remarkably good at it. Have you noticed other protective behaviors beyond the doorway vigil? Does your cat follow you from room to room, never letting you out of their sight for long? Do they position themselves between you and strangers who enter your home? Do they suddenly appear during moments of emotional crisis, even if they were sleeping in another room? These aren't coincidences. These are expressions of their protective mission playing out in daily life. Your cat perceives your emotional state before you're consciously aware of it yourself. They sense when your energy dips, when you're carrying stress, when you're vulnerable to negative influences. And they respond immediately, moving closer, offering their presence, sometimes even placing themselves physically between you and whatever they perceive as a threat to your well-being. The depth of this connection can be overwhelming when you truly recognize it. Your cat knows you, not just your routines or your voice or your scent. They know your energy signature, your emotional patterns, your spiritual essence. They can read you in ways that most humans cannot. And this knowing flows both ways. Deep inside, beneath your rational mind, you know your cat too. You understand their communications, even when they seem mysterious to others. You sense their moods. You recognize when something is different. You share a language that transcends words, operating through energy, intention, and soul recognition. This is why losing a cat feels so devastating. It's not just losing a pet. It's losing a soul partner, a spiritual ally, a being who agreed to walk part of your life path with you. The grief is proportional to the depth of the soul bond. But take comfort in this. The contract between your souls extends beyond this single lifetime. You will meet again. In fact, you've probably met many times before, taking turns in different roles, supporting each other's evolution across multiple incarnations. The love between you is eternal. The bond is unbreakable. Physical separation is temporary. Right now, in this lifetime, you have the gift of your cat's physical presence. They're fulfilling their promise to you every single night when they take their position in your doorway. They're honoring the agreement their soul made to yours. How does it feel to know this? To understand that you're not just a cat owner, but a participant in a sacred partnership? Share your feelings in the comments. Tell me about the moment you knew your cat was more than just a pet. I want to hear your story, and I'll respond to every single comment because these connections matter deeply. There's one more truth waiting to be revealed. Once you fully recognize and honor your cat's spiritual purpose, once you consciously acknowledge the sacred work they're performing, something shifts, the protection deepens, the bond strengthens, and you discover that you're not just a passive recipient of your cat's guardianship. You can actively participate in this spiritual partnership, creating something even more powerful together. Living in sacred partnership, honoring your cat's divine purpose. Everything has changed now. You've walked through the doorway of understanding, and there's no going back. You can no longer look at your cat as simply a pet who shares your space. You see them now for what they truly are: a spiritual guardian, a soul companion, a divine presence that chose to walk beside you in this lifetime. And with this recognition comes an invitation, an opportunity to transform your relationship from something passive into something consciously co-created. You don't have to just receive your cat's protection. You can honor it, strengthen it, and work alongside them in creating a home that vibrates with peace, safety, and spiritual harmony. This begins with something beautifully simple: acknowledgement. Tonight, when you see your cat positioned in that doorway, pause. Don't just walk past them on your way to bed. Stop for a moment, look into their eyes, and silently or softly speak your gratitude. Thank them for their vigilance. Acknowledge the sacred work they're performing. Let them know that you see them, that you recognize what they're doing. You might feel self-conscious at first, talking to your cat about spiritual protection. But trust this, your cat already knows you understand. They've been waiting for this recognition, and when you finally offer it, something in their energy will shift. You'll see it in their eyes, in the way they hold themselves, in the deepened bond that flows between you. This simple act of gratitude creates reciprocity. Energy flows in cycles, and when you consciously acknowledge what your cat gives you, you complete the circuit. The protection they offer becomes stronger because it's now witnessed, honored, and celebrated. But you can go deeper than words. Consider creating small rituals that honor your cat's spiritual role. Light a candle in the evening before bed, setting an intention for peaceful rest and spiritual protection. Your cat will often position themselves near this light, drawn to the focused energy of your intention. You're not performing magic, you're simply bringing conscious awareness to what's already happening naturally. Some people place a small bowl of fresh water near where their cat stands guard, symbolically offering support for the energetic work being performed. Others use gentle sound, like the ring of a small bell or the soft tone of a singing bowl, to help clear and balance the energy of threshold spaces. Cats respond beautifully to these sounds, which operate on frequencies they naturally attune to. If you use incense or essential oils, choose them carefully. Cats have sensitive respiratory systems, so avoid anything strong or synthetic. Natural sandalwood, sage, or frankincense in very light amounts can be beneficial, but always ensure your space is well ventilated and watch your cat's response. If they move away, honor their wisdom. They know what serves them and what doesn't. The most powerful practice, however, requires nothing external at all. It's the practice of presence. Spend time simply being with your cat in silence. Sit near them when they're in their guardian position. Don't distract them or interrupt their focus. Just be present. Breathe slowly and deeply. Allow your own energy to settle and calm. In these moments, you're not just keeping your cat company. You're joining them in their work, adding your conscious intention to their instinctive protection. Some people find that meditation becomes deeper and more profound when practiced near their cat. The cat's naturally meditative state creates a field of calm that you can enter more easily. Their presence serves as an anchor, helping your mind settle when it wants to race with thoughts. You might also notice that your cat responds to your emotional state with even greater sensitivity once you've consciously acknowledged your spiritual partnership. When you're stressed or anxious, they may increase their protective behaviors, staying closer, checking on you more frequently, or positioning themselves in ways that physically ground your energy. Honor this by being mindful of what you bring into your shared space. Your emotional energy affects your home's atmosphere, and your cat works harder when that atmosphere is heavy or chaotic. This doesn't mean you need to be perfect or suppress difficult emotions. It means being conscious of how you process those emotions, perhaps taking a few moments to breathe and center yourself before entering your home, or creating small practices that help you release the day's stress. Your home itself will begin to feel different as you engage more consciously with this partnership. Many people report that their space feels lighter, more peaceful, more protected. They sleep more deeply. They wake more refreshed. They notice that negative or draining people seem less inclined to visit, while positive, supportive relationships strengthen. This isn't coincidence. You and your cat are actively creating an energetic boundary around your shared space, a field of protection that influences everything and everyone that comes near it. Your home becomes a sanctuary, not just physically, but spiritually. And here's something beautiful. As you honor your cat's spiritual work, your own spiritual awareness expands. You begin to notice things you previously overlooked. You become more sensitive to energy shifts in your environment. You develop stronger intuition. You start to perceive the subtle layers of reality that your cat has been navigating all along. Your cat isn't just protecting you. They're teaching you, showing you through their example how to be more aware, more present, more attuned to the spiritual dimensions of existence. Have you already started to notice these changes? Perhaps you're becoming more intuitive, more aware of energies, more sensitive to the spiritual undercurrents in your life. Maybe you're sleeping better, feeling safer, experiencing your home as a true refuge. I'd love to hear what's shifting for you. Share your experiences in the comments, and let's create a community of people who recognize and celebrate the sacred bonds between humans and their feline guardians. Every night, as darkness settles and the world grows quiet, your cat takes their position. They sit in that doorway not because they must, but because they love you. Because they made a promise before either of you were born into this lifetime. Because protecting your peace, your rest, your spiritual well-being is their sacred purpose. And now you know, you understand, you see the divine truth that's been present all along. You are not alone. You are protected. You are loved by a being whose devotion transcends the limitations of language and species. Your cat is a guardian angel in fur, a spiritual warrior in a small, soft body, a master teacher who asks for nothing more than your recognition and love in return. Tonight, when you see your cat sitting in that doorway, everything will be different. Because you'll know exactly what you're witnessing: a soul keeping its promise, a guardian maintaining their sacred vigil, a love so profound that it watches over you even in your most vulnerable hours. If this message has touched your heart, if you've recognized your own experience in these words, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. We're building a community of people who understand that the relationship between humans and cats is sacred, profound, and worthy of celebration. More meaningful stories and spiritual insights are coming, and I'd be honored to have you join us on this journey. Sleep well tonight, knowing you are protected. Rest deeply, trusting in the guardian who chose you. And may you always remember that the small being sitting in your doorway carries within them a love that transcends lifetimes, a wisdom that predates civilization, and a devotion that will never waver. You are blessed. Your cat is a gift, and the bond between you is eternal.